Hold on to your pearls, everyone. My house, the one I poured my heart and soul into, was gone. Sold. My husband, Robert, and I were floored when Kevin, his dear brother, broke the news. But let me tell you, no one was quite as flabbergasted as dear old mother-in-law. What do you mean sold? Weren't you supposed to be whisking me away to your mansion? She boomed, her voice laced with disbelief and a hint of betrayal. Kevin, bless his patient soul, tried to calm the storm, launching into an explanation that only seemed to fuel the flames of her outrage. See, Robert and I are remote workers. We thrive on the flexibility, the freedom to take breaks and soak in the sunshine without judgment. But ever since mother-in-law decided to grace us with her presence, that tranquility went out the window. Why aren't you two out there, hustling in offices like proper adults? She'd sniff, disapproval radiating from her like a bad hair day. No matter how patiently we explained the remote work thing, it went over her head faster than a rogue squirrel. This isn't how it's supposed to be, she'd grumble, pining for that mythical mansion life with Kevin and his well-to-do wife Carol. Little did she know, Kevin's digs were more modest than she imagined. Mother-in-law's eyes narrowed, her nose crinkling like a prune dipped in vinegar. Poppycock, she snorted, clearly not buying it. Kevin wouldn't just abandon his own blood, would he? Robert, bless his diplomatic heart, tried to reason with her. But he didn't mention you on the phone, did he? He just forgot, dear, mother-in-law huffed, rolling her eyes like she was watching a particularly dull soap opera. Besides, this house is a dump anyway. You're probably planning to turn me into your personal maid, but let me tell you, those days are long gone. We were flabbergasted by her paranoia. Since moving in, she'd treated our home like a 5-star resort, avoiding chores like a cat avoids baths. We even gave her pocket money, for crying out loud. Yet, here she was, painting us as cruel tyrants. We packed her bags anyway, hoping Kevin's arrival would clear the air. When the weekend rolled around, Kevin and his wife arrived, their smiles plastered on like wallpaper in a dentist's office. Mom-in-law, oblivious to the awkwardness, beamed like a lighthouse welcoming lost ships. Finally, she declared, practically skipping towards them. Sandra here can't manage chores for the life of her, and Robert completely ignores me. Can you believe it? She pushed past Robert like a battering ram to reach her brother. Robert, ever the peacemaker, chimed in. That's not it, Mom. We give you an allowance, you eat whatever you want, and Sandra takes care of the house. But his words seemed to bounce off Kevin's suspicious exterior. Robert wouldn't know neglect if it bit him in the, well, you know, Kevin muttered, earning us both skeptical glances. And Sandra, not exactly known for her nurturing spirit. The air crackled with tension as we all shuffled to the living room. Just as we settled around the table, mother-in-law boomed, "What are you waiting for? Serve the tea." My jaw dropped. I thought you were making the tea, mother-in-law. Make an old woman work. See, Kevin, this is the kind of person she is. She wailed, crocodile tears welling up in her eyes. I was speechless, my brain doing a mental freeze frame. After a painfully awkward tea service, Kevin finally dropped the bomb. They sold their house due to debt. Robert and I were speechless. But mother-in-law, ever the drama queen, took the cake. Debt? What debt? And why, oh why, wouldn't you pick me up? She exclaimed, her voice reaching operatic heights. Kevin, looking like he'd swallowed a lemon, tried to explain their financial woes and their need for a place to stay. But one question hung heavy in the air, echoing mother-in-law's bewilderment. What debt? So, Kevin spilled the beans. Their fancy mansion was gone, thanks to a business venture that went belly up. Hey, stuff happens, right? He chuckled, his cheerfulness clashing with the air thick enough to cut with a butter knife. Robert and I exchanged sighs that could have powered a wind turbine. They begged us to let them crash for a while, claiming we were their only hope. It was a tough call, considering the chaos mother-in-law had already unleashed. Still, seeing their desperation, we caved, setting a 1-month limit on their stay. Deal, Kevin chirped, already unpacking like a squirrel preparing for winter. The next day, mountains of their stuff materialized, sending us scrambling for storage solutions. Just when we thought things couldn't get more surreal, mother-in-law dropped a bomb. Having Kevin here feels much safer, don't you think? Now, you two freeloaders can hit the road. Her eyes sparkled like a magpie eyeing a diamond necklace. Are you feeling okay? Robert sputtered, bewildered. Ignoring the tension, she turned to him, eyes gleaming. Robert can stay, I suppose, but a wife who can't even boil water. Unnecessary baggage. Just divorce her and voila. All that space for Kevin's precious packages. Robert gaped like a fish out of water. Despite the growing storm, he decided to focus on the mountain of cardboard boxes taking over the living room. But things went from simmering to full-blown meltdown when he suggested downsizing the package hoard or renting a locker. Kevin exploded, ranting about their importance and the impending apocalypse of lost or damaged packages. Mother-in-law, ever the opportunist, swooped in. Not happy with Kevin's presence. The door is right there, freeloaders, she declared, oblivious to the collective jaw-dropping moment she'd orchestrated. We locked eyes, Robert and I, the weight of the situation finally hitting us. Kevin and his wife seemed equally stunned, witnessing the bizarre family drama unfolding before them. As things stood, it was clear. This was just the beginning of a wild ride. The audacity. My jaw would have hit the floor if it wasn't already surgically attached. Kevin and Carol, smirking like Cheshire cats, actually suggested buying our house. Brilliant idea, Mom, Kevin chimed in, his enthusiasm about living rent-free thick in the air. Yeah, house hunting is such a drag, Carol chimed in, adding a layer of entitlement to the already bizarre situation. Plus, mother-in-law seems to approve, so set it to us, Sandra dear, she finished, batting her eyelashes like a cartoon villain. We were speechless. What in the... My husband started, but mother-in-law, ever the opportunist, cut him off. See, Kevin and Carol agree. So, Robert, what's it gonna be? Divorce Sandra and stay. Like a good boy, she purred, her eyes alight with triumph. I was about to unleash my inner mama bear, but my husband beat me to it. Hold on a second, he said, his voice tight with anger. Who says Sandra has to leave? And why are you even talking about a divorce? Don't shout, dear, mother-in-law huffed, unfazed. It's better without extra baggage, wouldn't you say? You don't get it, do you? My husband's voice rose an octave. This is Sandra's house. He turned to the stunned audience of Kevin, Carol, and myself. This is the house she bought for our future together. Mother-in-law snorted, clearly unconvinced. Sandra, playing her computer games all day. Does housework seriously? Please. My husband wasn't having it. Sandra's a successful business owner. You delusional woman. He shot back, his eyes flashing. Now, either stop lying or hit the road with your entitled spawn. Seeing our proof, ahem, my paycheck, Kevin and Carol turned as pale as ghosts. Whoa, no need to get upset, Kevin stammered, a nervous chuckle escaping his lips. Just kidding, right? But seriously, Sandra, you're killing it. Any business tips for a struggling entrepreneur? While they seemed to back down, mother-in-law remained a fortress of stubbornness. Don't get cocky, boy. You're still a freeloader in my eyes. And you, Robert, get out there and face the real world. It's tougher than you think. Our ultimatum hung heavy in the air. Pack your bags, my husband declared, his voice resolute. We're leaving, but you're stuck with the mortgage. Don't come crying to us when you can't handle it. He turned to mother-in-law, his gaze unwavering. And if you insist, you're welcome to leave too. Your pension might not cover your extravagant lifestyle as a freeloader, but hey, that's your problem, isn't it? Mother-in-law's face turned the color of a boiled beet. Leave? You can't, she shrieked. But before she could unleash another tirade, Kevin and Carol intervened. Wait, please, they stammered, fear flickering in their eyes. But mother-in-law silenced them with a glare. "Don't even think about it, Kevin. You're destined to be a CEO, remember? Use my pension, start that company, and show us your brilliance. Disobey us, and I'll make you regret it." Her final words echoed with an ominous threat. We knew then and there that further involvement was a recipe for disaster. With heavy hearts, we packed our things and left the house, ownership conveniently transferred to Kevin's name. Residual bitterness lingered, but it was a small price to pay for escaping mother-in-law's toxic presence. Life settled into a peaceful rhythm in our new apartment. We were back to our remote work routine, savoring the tranquility we'd almost lost. Then, one afternoon, mother-in-law's tearful call shattered the silence. "Kevin's taken my pension and vanished. We're alone and desperate. Please help us." My husband listened patiently, his jaw clenching tight. "Why'd he disappear?" he finally asked. "I funded his startup, but he gambled it all away," she wailed. "He's been gone for a week." The sobs became too much, and the phone was passed to Carol. "Please call us back," she pleaded. "We can't live like this." My husband sighed, the frustration evident in his voice. "I told you this would happen," he muttered. "But we warned you, didn't we? You made your choices, now face the consequences. No amount of crying will change that. Report Kevin as missing. It's not our burden. We're done." With that, he hung up. A part of me felt sympathy, but my husband's words resonated. They'd reaped what they'd sown. Their desperate calls continued, each one a testament to their dwindling hope. Then, the news broke. Kevin, arrested for bank robbery in another state. Turns out, this wasn't his first rodeo. While Carol, unable to return home, remained trapped with mother-in-law, divorce seemed the least of their worries. We offered condolences, but our resolve remained firm. This was their path, not ours. They were finally experiencing the harsh realities mother-in-law once preached. Though changes had come, we were finally back to our peaceful days, and we wouldn't trade that for anything. I hope you guys enjoy this story. To watch more interesting stories, hit that subscribe button. Thank you.